Hey, Hazard Master Reviews here for today's review. Woody Allen, ladies and gentlemen, regarded as one of the most influential comedic film directors of all time. Allen's career has often been looked at both very fondly in the eyes of film critics, but also a bit mixed in the eyes of certain fans. I mean, look, we all know about his history and, well, his relationship with his adopted daughter and and that whole fiasco, and I mean, we all know about the issues that have just come up recently in the world with a certain group of files. But despite that, his reputation in the film industry, obviously has now been a bit clouded in light of in light of changes in the way we look at things. It's still regarded, and his filmography, that you're bound to at least find one film that you can still look back on and say, oh, it's a good film despite his issues. And honestly, here's the thing: as much as I do have to agree that some of the things that have come out about him and at least history are have darkened a bit of his reputation. I'm not gonna be I'm gonna be honest. He's not the worst person in my view, and not the person that makes me feel uncomfortable. The most uncomfortable. Trust me, I think he's way at the bottom personally. I mean, there are much worse in my view. And besides, no matter how things continue to change about his reputation and all that and his legacy, nothing's going to stop me from saying that Antz is a great film. Yeah, I think a lot of you were expecting me to one day talk about this film, but even though, especially, this gets mentioned a little bit here and there on this channel, but, well, here we are. We finally talked about one of the first films I ever owned on DVD. Yeah, one of the first. I had four films originally when my parents first got their DVD player. They were Antz, Shrek, and the first two Toy Stories. I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering why Antz. I mean, it is a bit of a strange, very adult film, but well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't really care too much. And yeah, honestly, as much as I wasn't born at a time with the rivalry between Antz and A Bug's Life. I actually kind of think I'm still technically part of that whole debate because I actually watched these both for the first around the same time. I mean, while we owned Ants, my nan and pop owned A Bug's Life, and so technically I was exposed to both of these films at the same age. So I technically can call myself as part of the rivalry. And in my view, I mean, I know it's a personal factor, but I think Ants is definitely the superior film. But I'm not here to go on to do a versus video and all that other things. We're just here to talk about the film in general. So this film stars Woody Allen as Z, an anxious, neurotic ant who feels lost in his colony because it's so easy for him to. Considering this colony is full of hundreds and thousands of ants, it's easy for you to lose your identity. Just by having a couple of friends here and there, including a fellow co-worker named Azteca, played by Jennifer Lopez, and a muscle-bound soldier known as Weaver, played by Sylvester Stallone. But one day while at the bar with Stallone's character, he accidentally runs into the colony's princess, Bala, played by Sharon Stone. He immediately falls in love with her and has finally found some sort of purpose within the colony. But given her royal privileges, it means he's probably not likely going to be able to see her. So he's able to convince Weaver to switch places with him so he can attend a royal inspection so he can actually have a chance of seeing her again. But he didn't realize is that this royal inspection was actually a ruse to be sent off to fight a group of termites to protect their colony. Z only manages to barely survive and returns to the colony where he's able to reunite with Bala. But when she recognizes him, her fiance, General Mandible, played by Gene Hackman, threatens to execute Z. So he and the princess escape, and they go and after evading the Mandible's forces, go on a hair-raising trip to find the mythical land known as Insectopia, where insects can live freely and they don't have to worry about being stuck in their own in a colony where they get pretty much swallowed and have no identity. So I think you can basically see what the premise actually is, and for some people, it's a bit of a. They feel both sides don't really mix, whether it be the adventure aspect of finding Insectopia, or the fact of Z trying to, figure out a balance between being an individual or being part of his own community. But honestly, I think these two sides work really well. I don't have any problem with any one of them, and honestly, these writers who wrote this script, they've worked on other stuff that I've seen as well, and I'm really impressed with what they did here. And I'm grateful that at the very least, well, the premises. Okay, I'm not going to go. As I said, this isn't too much of a comparison between this and A Bug's Life. While the similarities are there, we're focusing on a single ant in a wider colony who falls in love with a princess and has to save the day. Each story is technically very different, because in A Bug's Life it's more about oppression and society oppression. This one deals with more individualism element. I mean, yes, there is a bit of overlapping themes, but I'm not gonna go over with that. And I really do get behind Z a lot more than I do get behind Flick. I mean, honestly, I even see a lot of myself in Z. I mean, I was that sort of individual who hate being around crowds and just wanted to be his own individual person. And just, I would socialize with my friends here and there, and yeah, I really just wanted to be left alone, even though technically I will admit I was a very popular person in all my schools and all that, so that's probably another reason why this film continues to grow on me, because I did sort of see myself like Z in a way. Although, to be fair, Z never really becomes popular at any point until when he first leaves the colony, then he gains a bit of popularity, and then he returns and he witnesses everything. So yeah, I get behind it, and I mean, truth be told, I get behind Z so much that whole opening monologue of Alan in the therapy session is just drilled into my head. I can quote pretty much every line of that film. I mean, what can I say? It's just this whole gun-hold superorganism thing that
I can't get. I try, but I don't get it. I mean, what is it? I'm supposed to do everything for the colony, and what about my needs? What about me? I mean, I gotta believe there's some place out there that's better than this. Otherwise, I would just curl up in a larval position and weep. The whole system makes me feel insignificant.
But not just counting Z, but I also like all the characters in this film, and honestly, part of the reason why I'm able to I remember every single one of them, mainly due to their voices. I mean, okay, this film is jam-packed with celebrities, but another thing you can sort of change in a bit of a interesting comparison for Bug's Life is the fact that both these films, their cast is largely very different, but in a similar thing. I mean, both these films star actors that were huge at the time, but in different fields. A Bug's Life focused more on the actors who were the most popular actors in TV shows, while Antz mainly focused on the most popular actors in films, with a few exceptions here and there. And all these actors in Antz I really do enjoy and think they're great. I mean, okay, some are just okay, like Anne Bancroft, Danny Glover, and John Mahoney. They're okay, but they do their jobs fine. But everyone else, though, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I mean, from what I can tell, and this has always been debated, Alan has admitted he wasn't really the biggest fan of working on this film because he had to do multiple takes, and for a guy who likes to do things so quickly, having to do the same lines over and over got very tiring on him. But honestly, I really do enjoy what he did here, and I get a lot of love behind it. I get a lot of passion and everything. But all the other actors are great too. I mean, Gene Hackman as the bad guy, how can you go wrong? Dan Aykroyd is great. Sharon Stone, pretty good. Jennifer Lopez, probably one of her best acting jobs in my view, and give full credit to Sylvester Stallone. I mean, he didn't actually do his regular voice that he does in films. He sounds very different, and honestly, I can even tell you, my grandparent, my nana, isn't a big fan of Stallone, but even she admits this is one of the few films she likes of his because he's actually talking in a different voice. And Christopher Walken, I think he's alright. Yeah, he's good. He has his moments, but yeah, whatever. He's probably not the best, but he's still good, honestly. I think he's better than the other three I listed. But yeah, I think all these performances are great. And, you know, and they do really help elevate the story and everything. And I get behind every character's motivations and everything. I think the villain's plot and everything to take over the colony, it's actually pretty good, and I actually do like how he structured everything, and it's only technically by circumstance he actually did achieve his goal, but just things didn't obviously change in the way we see returning to the colony and everything, discovering a way to escape, for the worker ants to escape their fate. I really do enjoy it. I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to complain about the CG and all that. I mean, it does. I won't lie. It does look a bit dated and everything, and I think a lot of people are saying this is probably another reason why A Bug's Life probably is a better film, because that CG apparently holds up better. I'm going to defend that and say this. Well, I appreciate Antz for going more of a realistic route instead of a cartoony route, and honestly, because this is what I kind of think of what Antz would probably look like. I mean, okay, the faces aren't going to look that the same way, and okay, yeah, they're standing up, not really crawling and everything, but for what it is, this is what I think an ant would be close to looking like. I mean, brown ants, that is, not other ones, but these, I mean, okay, they're a bit of red there too, so it's hard to really distinguish, but I can basically tell, even though these are anime creatures, I think they're pretty close to it, and I can get behind it. I like the way these creatures, these insects look, and the fact that everything's to scale and everything. It really helps elevate the world and everything. I will be a little bit critical and say, having the film, okay, you can sort of, the way the film starts in making it look like it's actually New York City, but it's instead some shades of grass, okay, I can buy that, but when we actually see at the end that it is actually a colony, this colony is actually in Central Park in New York, yeah, maybe that's a bit, I would have preferred if they just kept it ambiguous as to where in the world this was set, you know. It's just an idea. I mean, you can have the product placements at the picnic scene, but I would have preferred if they just kept where this colony was in the world ambiguous, you know. But yeah, I honestly don't mind the way this film looks, and think it actually does look better than A Bug's Life. Yeah, I really do enjoy it, and everything. And I appreciate the music. I mean, that theme, the colony theme by Harry Gregson Williams and John Powell, it is fantastic. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, I can hum it any day of the week. And even the use of pop songs here and there, pretty good. I mean, hearing Doris Day at the end, in the end credits, is really good and everything. And there are others too. I mean, honestly, I think this film's themes have actually appeared a lot in film trailers, at least to about 2004, I believe. I mean, I know of a few that they showed up here and there, and yeah, so yeah, these music themes are pretty good. Do I think there are problems? Yeah, I will admit, not everything is perfect. I mean, okay, let's just get on with it. First off, the humor. I mean, I actually don't mind the humor and think it's actually not too bad. I even liked it back then, but I think a lot of people will argue this humor and subtext is a lot darker for what most kids will probably for what most parents will want to show their kids. But honestly, I think it's give or take. You're gonna have to wait and see what your kids would prefer. I mean, yes, I think there's a chance some might get scared at a few things, like in particular the termite battle scene could be seen as scary, but I don't think anyone's going to really freak out over the anthill, the megatunnel flood scene. I think that's pretty okay for kids. Everything, and the humor, I don't think any young child will recognize some of the adult language in this. I mean, tell me. Okay, you can tell me in the comments if you recognize this, but tell me if a young child will understand what this scene means in Antz.
call me crazy, but I have a thing about drinking from the anus of another creature, okay?
Suit yourself.
I mean, I didn't know what that word meant, but as a 4-year-old, but I mean, yeah. So I'm pretty sure not really anyone's gonna really pay attention to it and everything. I will also be. I've already and I will say this about Alan: if his reputation has sort of clouded you, does make you feel a bit uncomfortable, I can get it. I guess in many ways it is going to be personal taste and everything, and see if you can put it aside, because I don't think this film is going to be the thing that rubs you off the wrong way. I mean, okay, some lines he says could maybe remind you of what about his his real life escapades.
You know, I was gonna let you become part of my most erotic fantasies, but now you can just forget that, write it off, you know? I guess what you prefer is old blood and guts.
But honestly, that doesn't really affect me too much, but I can see why others. But going back to A Bug's Life a little bit here. While Alan in Antz doesn't rub me the wrong way, the likes of with A Bug's Life, they've got Kevin Spacey in one of the roles, and you've got Jonathan Lasseter as the director. Yeah, they do make me feel a little. I do sort of have a little bit of issues with them, as I've pointed out before. But that's what it is. And honestly, with my view, Antz is still a great film in my view, and I think it's worth a watch for any young family and all that. I mean, as I said before, I'm sure this film could be seen as a bit too adult for young kids to watch, and I can understand it and everything. But honestly, I think you should at least try and watch it at least in two sort of ways. You watch it first as a little kid, then you watch it again as a teenager, and you get more of a better understanding of everything, and you get to enjoy it more. I mean, sure, it's not going to look the best. This was a computer anime released in 1998, but I don't think it's going to be seen as too graphic and all that. I mean, honestly, as I said before, I don't think Antz was the most graphic thing Dreamworks released in that year. I think, compared to, say, The Prince of Egypt with some of their graphic material, I just think it's not as bad as what people think. It's not as dark as what people think it could be. And honestly, the way I look at it is that I give this film easily a 9 or 9.5 out of 10 half stars. Probably at this stage a 9.5. I love this film, and I watch it at least once or twice a year personally. I love this film to death. And it's definitely in my, as I said, as you know, it's in my favorite DreamWorks movies of all time. My top 10 easily, as you've seen, as I mentioned a couple of years ago. And honestly, this sort of jumps a bit between being above or below the Rotel Dorado for me at times. I sort of have a hard time switching between them at the moment as to which is my favorite, because they're both really good. But yeah, that's Antz, and I think it's worth a watch. And honestly, I'd say if you're a Woody Allen fan, you gotta watch it. If you're not a big fan of his works, I'm not a big fan of him in general, just give it a watch. I still say give it a watch, because it's not the worst of. It's not going to be a big turn off in my view. So yeah, there we go. So it felt good to actually talk about a film I actually really enjoyed on this channel. It's been a while since I've done stuff like that. Well, but anyway, in terms of what's next for big videos, I think I'm getting close to doing my next video game collection video, so stay tuned for that. Of course, whatever movies get released in theaters and I go watch, I'll try and give them a review of that, and there'll be some video game reviews as well to come as well. So in the meantime, this is House of Friends Reviews out, and I shall see you in my next video. Ciao!